So another thing that we need to talk about just to make sure that everyone's clear before we start school is our rotating schedule. Just a reminder that we have an every other day type of schedule this year. So that involves a day 1 and a day 2. And we'll actually be starting on day 2 this year. So that's September 8th is our first day of school. That's a day 2 for us. So that means that 0 period, that's for student arrival and teacher planning, happens between 7:30 and 8:10. That is followed by a homeroom on our first day. And our students need to know that they don't have necessarily the same homeroom teacher they had last year. So definitely check your schedule to see who your homeroom teacher is. That happens a quick 20-minute homeroom there. Then students will go to 4th period, then 5th period. And then on day 2, 7th period is our lunch period. And for students who are familiar with Ashland High School, we have the same 3 lunch periods that we've always had, A, B, and C. And students will eat the same lunch that their teacher eats. So we will put out a list of which students eat which lunch. We'll post that on our website so that everyone knows, and there shouldn't be any issues with knowing which lunch you eat, because teachers will help remind you and will help explain that as we go through the day. So those yellow highlighted areas are all places where we're going to eat lunch during the day. Just a reminder, parents, we are going to keep your students safe because we'll have 2 different areas that they can eat in so that they stay physically distanced from each other. That 7D period you see is the remaining instructional period for 7th to make sure that the periods are equalized. Our periods are a little bit longer this year. They're about 83 minutes. And then we finish off the day with arrow time. And arrow time is simply a time for students to get some work done, for them to get some extra help from their teachers. Throughout the year, we'll be doing some enrichment activities with our students. There'll be some meetings that take place. There'll be some training and education on Canvas, our learning management system that happens in the first few days of school. So lots of different plans for our arrow time during the year. September 9th will follow with a day 1, and a day 1 goes almost the exact same way. So we'll start with 0 period, student arrival and teacher planning. We'll go into 1st period, 2nd period, and then 3rd period on a day 1 schedule is our lunch. So 3A, 3B, 3C are our eating periods, and then the D period is our instructional period to equalize that time out. And then we finish out our day on any day 1 with our 6th period. So do remember, folks, that this means that every student is still coming every day. They just won't have all 7 periods in their schedule every day. It just rotates between the 2. So I have a typical freshman schedule down here for us to look over and just talk about a little bit so we can apply the rotational times to that. So as I look at it, when your students pick up their schedule, it's going to tell them who their counselor is if they're not sure. It's also going to give them their student ID over on the right and their homeroom. So you'll want to make sure you know where your student's homeroom is. Yours will be filled out when you pick it up. But if I'm this student, then I am going to start on September 8th by going to my homeroom, which again will be listed over there on the right. Then I will go from my homeroom to my 4th period, which for this person is algebra, in room 204, then 5th period, and then followed by 7th period. Okay, so I'll go 4, again, homeroom, 4, 5, 7, and I will eat lunch whatever period Mr. Lavengood eats. And so we'll figure that out as time goes on, as students pick up their schedules and those lunches are posted. And then for arrow time, I'm going to head back to my homeroom. So arrow time will happen in homeroom in the same place you had homeroom in the morning. So that's our day 2 on September 8th. The 2nd day of school on September 9th, it's our day 1 schedule. And so I'll come back to school, I'll arrive and I'll go to my 1st period class in concert choir, followed by 2nd period in Spanish, followed by 3rd period, which for me, 1st semester as a freshman student, is health. And so again, I will eat the lunch period, A, B, or C, that Mrs. Gallagher eats. And then after lunch, I will head to my 6th period, which is physical science. So that is a breakdown of our rotating schedule. And again, we've got this published in our newsletter, and I believe the newsletter is published on the website too, just in case you need it again. But this is how our schedule will rotate. So any of those shaded days are day 2 schedule. So we're going to start on September 8th on a day 2 schedule. and then any of the days that are not shaded are day ones. So this should get us through first semester, and then we'll put out another schedule when we are done there.